Stay with me. I got a fun one for you today. I'm talking about 5 records, 5 guitar players that really shaped my style, showed me what was possible in the guitar, and continue to influence me to this day. There's a little download available too for free, and I'm going to show you a couple of licks and tricks along the way, and we're going to have a good time. Here we go. All right, Terrio back at you. Thanks for tuning in. Man, I drank a lot of coffee this morning. It's a whole lot of notes. I already exceeded my my note duration for the video. Anyway, I'm talking about 5 records, along with 5 guitar players, that shaped me, as a kid. And I thought it'd be fun. I'm going to keep it loose, but I'm going to try to show you a couple of things along the way, a couple of licks and things. By the way, that intro jam, inspired by the first record I'm going to talk about, is available. That little vamp, you can get it for free. Just click the download link below in the description, put in a valid email address, you'll get it for free. It's fun to jam over. It's A minor 7 vamp. All right, in no particular order, and yeah, I know I probably leave out some people. These are just 5 that off the top of my head are no-brainers, records and players that really influenced me. So here we go. Number 1, this record, Dr. He by Scott Henderson. All right. Obviously, that intro jam had a lot of Scott-isms in it. And Scott was a big influence on me. This record really changed my whole world when I heard it. I don't remember. I was in junior high school or sophomore when it came out. But man, and going back and listening to it now, it's not even like packed full of guitar solos. The compositions are really amazing on here. But when Scott steps out, like on the first tune called Dr. He, it is badassery at its finest. I won't say this was a gateway to jazz for me because I'd already been studying some jazz, but what it did do was showed me that, man, you could play with some balls and attitude and have cool phrasing and have some of that bebop vocabulary in there, although I wouldn't call Scott bebop. But Mike Stern, along with Mike Stern, Time and Place came out a little earlier. It was the same thing. It was like, these are rock dudes that can actually really play. It doesn't sound bogus, like they're just throwing in jazz licks. So I got a lot from Scott. I ended up studying with him. And Scott got me my first job teaching at GIT when I was 19. And I've known him over the years. But, man, I learned a lot of stuff from Scott. So in the intro jam, I kind of went off. But I definitely incorporated the infamous Dr. He lick. And it's a bitch to play that. It's not an easy lick. It's a cool little Scott-ism. And that is, I'm thinking in A minor 7. Scott played it in C major 7. It works over either one. So the first part is this. You start on the 10th fret, 12th fret, 2nd string. You go up to the D, 10th fret, 1st string. And then there's this series of hammers. Hammer on and pull-offs. That's a very Scott Henderson-esque phrase. Ooh, then he twists it around. He does this. That's a takeaway for you. A cool one to play. It works over C or A. So that's one of the records that really shaped me. Dr. Heat, yeah, there's other ones, the John Pawnee one. There's Players with T. Lavitz, Jeff Berlin. It's a great record too. The later Tribal Tech stuff is all great. But something about Dr. He, man, it just stuck with me. Let's move on. Number 2, in no particular order. They're just kind of the way they rolled out. But I was kind of exposed to a lot of this stuff at the same time in my life. The Meters. All right. We're going to talk about Rejuvenation, which I don't actually have a copy of here with me today. But Rejuvenation is the one I would start with. So many great moments. Leo Nocentelli, the architect, one of the architects of funk rhythm guitar, in my opinion. I've been lucky enough to work with all of those guys in the Meters and the Nevilles, of course. I did my tenure, but I got to learn from the source. So I'm very fortunate with that. But Leo did a lot of stuff, man. Just take People Say. People Say, great rhythm guitar stuff on that tune. What else is on that record? Just Kiss My Baby. I don't have my wah-wah hooked up. A lot of people don't know this, but Lowell George actually played slide guitar on Just Kiss My Baby, and I think another tune, and he's not credited on the record. I heard that from all those guys told me that. I guess credits weren't a big deal back in the day, but there's a little tidbit for you. So here's a deep dive for you. If you can find this record, it's called Nocentelli Live in San Francisco. This is a live gig, so it's not the best audio quality, but the playing is amazing. Zigaboo is playing drums. And my dear friend, Nick Daniels, who just passed away last year, I spent many a time on the road with him. He with the Neville Brothers. Nick was an amazing singer and bass player. He's singing and playing on this, man. His voice is unbelievable. But Leo plays some great stuff on this. Here's a little move I got off that record for you, a little bonus. If you're in D, that little thing. What I'm doing is I'm going up to the 13th fret on the 3rd and 2nd string with my ring finger. 11th fret, and then you go to the 12th fret, so you're up a half step in D. Check out that stuff, Rejuvenation. That's a record that changed my whole approach to rhythm and even other types of music that aren't funk. It's still in there. All right, number 3, again in no particular order, this record, Van Halen, Diver Down. Now, any of the Van Halen records qualify, especially the Roth era to me. That was the best Eddie stuff. But the reason I chose Diver Down specifically is because that was the first Van Halen record I ever heard that I remember hearing. And it had already been out for quite a while, but that's when I got into it. And I remember looking at that back cover and seeing that photo. Years later, I found out that was when they opened up for the Rolling Stones. But still, unbelievable. I was like, holy shit, look at those people. And I just remember, let's see, I could choose anything, man, from any Van Halen record. It was a huge thing. Again, the common thread between all these records is the attitude, the vibe, the swagger all these guys had. And you take a tune like the Full Bug. I mean, I used to play that over and over and over again. Just the attitude Eddie played, you know, the tone, everything. I'm not doing a good job with the tone, but I'm using what I have set up. But I remember the end of that tune, and I learned the pick harmonics from that. Such a badass riff, and what he's doing is rocking back between the E and the D and the E, and you take your pick and you just kind of maneuver it along. That's a great thing in itself. But what's really cool is this. And what he's doing is a combination of hammer-on and pull-offs using open strings. So it's open D, hammer on to the G, 5th fret, 4th string, play the C, 5th fret, 5th fret, 3rd string, and then you go down, open D, G, D, pull-off. Again, you could take any Van Halen record, and there's so much attitude and all that stuff. That was the beauty about Eddie's playing. I was lucky enough to hear some of these tracks from Diver Down. For some reason, Diver Down is one of my favorite records. And I was lucky enough to hear the multi-tracks one day at Dweezil Zappa's house. And I was a kid in a candy store, man. He's like, pick a track. And I said, The Full Bug. And I'd read an interview with Eddie when I was a kid where he said it was a live record, like no overdubbed. And he was not bullshitting. I saw the actual multi-track sheet from Sunset Sound, and there are no overdubs. I mean, I saw and heard and was able to select some of the tracks on The Full Bug, and that's a live solo. It's amazing what they did. And, to play that kind of solo, one take, unbelievable. Eddie Van Halen, what can you say? It's all been said. But there's my one of my submissions for the video. All right, number 4, again in no particular order, the incredible jazz guitar, Wes Montgomery. This is another one that was a game changer for me. I can remember going to a record store, remember those? With my dad on a Saturday night, and I bought Yngwie Malmsteen's Marching Out and the incredible jazz guitar, Wes Montgomery. True story. And I got a lot of things from Wes. Wes is one of my favorite jazz guitar player. Just beautiful melodies, phrasing, not overly technical, but technique when you need it. And I mean, his tone, everything, the total package, that's it. I mean, it's all on that record, man. One quick takeaway. I mean, there's West Coast Blues. He's played with his thumb, Of course, the octave stuff. But one quick thing I could give you to take away that I learned off this record, like if we have a modal vamp in A minor 7, Wes would do this a lot, where he takes a major 7 arpeggio, like C major 7. Okay, that's a 9th fret, 4th string, B, C, E on the 3rd string, G, 2nd string, B on the 7th string. I'll play it over that first A minor groove. Check it out. So you're playing it up a minor 3rd from A. Wes Montgomery. And you could also play it that shape down a whole step. So that would be. It doesn't sound like Wes Montgomery with this groove, but. Really hip stuff. Wes Montgomery, the melody, the chord stuff, the octaves, genius all the way around. Let's move on. All right, this is another record that really changed my whole approach. I love this record. I buy copies of it and give away. I've bought 10 of them over the years and given to friends. This record, Little Village. All right, this was a band comprised of John Hyatt, Ry Cooder, Jim Keltner, and Nick Lowe. And the guitar playing on this is unbelievable. It's completely different than anything I've talked about so far. But again, attitude, vibe, swagger. Ry Cooder, man, he has it big time. And I love it. It's such a quirky record. And I've gotten to work with Jim Keltner over the years. He's actually played on 2 of my solo records and Nick Lowe as well. And I talk to him about this all the time. Supposedly, according to Jim, John High and Ry Cooder didn't get along too well, so the band sort of imploded. They only did this one record. But check this record out. Yeah, I love this record. I listen to it a few times a year, at least. And big influence on me. Little Village. All right, my last little submission for my top 5. It's a record by a singer named Matraca Berg. I think I'm pronouncing her name right. I don't think it's Matraca Berg. It's called The Speed of Grace, featuring the great Michael Landau on guitar. And a really good guitar player in Nashville hit me to this years ago named Andy Most. So a shout out to Andy. But this record, textbook guitar tones, Strat, the really killer Landau Strat tones. Playing is unbelievable. Rhythm section is great. Jim Keltner on drums. Freddie Washington, who I play in a band with now. And I've talked to him about the record. He completely forgot about it. Never even heard it. And first time I did a session with Freddie, I said, man, I love that record, The Speed of Grace. He said, what are you talking about? I showed him the record. He didn't even know. He never even heard it. So that was a huge influence for me. Guitar tones for days. Landau sounds amazing. Really great Strat tones. Check that record out, The Speed of Grace. All right, that's all I got for you today. If you dug this, give me a like, subscribe. I'm trying to get to 20,000 subs by the end of the year, which is not much compared to my pals that have like 100,000 people. So hit me up, help out your boy if you can. And thanks for tuning in. Get the download. See you soon. Stay funky, Shane T.